behind the scenes, like, yeah, this shit happened. You know what I'm saying? And the beef, like, ain't nobody really talked about like what the beef was really about, other than the fact that Kendrick, you know what I'm saying, don't fuck with Drake like that and blah blah blah. I've
Do
been
you do
listening
you
to
want me to pause
Jay.
this? Do you want me to pause this while you talking? Or you
Yeah,
good?
because I don't want this to be the I don't let this be the
All
kickoff.
right.
This,
Yeah, go ahead. Keep talking.
you know what I'm saying? I originally posted it on Instagram before I posted it on TikTok. I think I posted it on TikTok the next day because I wanted to give it some time to see what it did on Instagram, and it did what I expected it to do on Instagram. It just fucking it spun out with the people that fuck with me already. What no, it was some new eyes on it, but no real engagement. But
Hmm.
with TikTok, I started getting massive engagement. A lot of people in my inbox and shit like that. It was like the MySpace days. You know what I'm saying?
Now, just for context, to give you context, right? I don't even be on TikTok that much. I literally pop on there maybe a few minutes a day versus Instagram, which I'm on more because I'm have multiple accounts I'm trying to, run whatever. So I pretty much I think I follow you on two of my accounts. I did not see none of that until I was on TikTok for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's just a testament of what you're saying. Like they're not even letting the people that follow you see stuff on IG versus I literally was not even on there for not I don't be on TikTok like that. I'll be on there
You
for
gotta
very
literally tag
short.
motherfuckers to get you gotta tag motherfuckers to get eyes on your shit on Instagram.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
literally.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's kind of crazy, and like they want to keep on saying that it's about China this and China that. It's like it's almost like when your mama say when you ask your mama, hey, I had $10 in my room. You seen it? And she was like, no, I don't know where that money went. But then you see her with a pack of cigarettes and shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's how Instagram is, man. Instagram was like, yeah, I saw you post that shit, but I don't know why you ain't getting no views.
Right.
But keep on posting. Maybe one day.
Maybe one day
You
you'll
know what
break
I'm
through
saying?
if you post 40 different clips a day. We
Hmm.
might
And
get
then
you
you know
through.
they reserve the right to use your shit. That's why I don't post a whole lot of my personal shit on Instagram
Mm-hmm.
because they actually literally let you know. You know what I'm saying? We will fuck around. If your shit is popular enough, we will use your shit.
Yeah,
You
we'll
know
put
what
a
I'm saying?
patent. Yeah, we'll try to use a patent on your
We'll go
shit.
ahead. We'll copyright it ourselves. We've already pre-copyrighted it just by you being a member.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. One
You
of
know what
my
I'm saying?
videos
Because
did that, and they sent me a notice saying that they would like to talk to me about copyright and patents. I was like, you know what? Let me stop. I'm gonna post, but I'm not gonna keep doing that.
it's because they're like we like to as consumers, we like to just use it as a platform in general to kind of like just share shit. But it's really for marketing.
Yeah.
It's like it's social media. You know what I'm saying? And the social component is just that we're all interacting. But the media component is like you got to have something to sell. You got to have something to give to make it worth being there. It
Right.
go
Because
back to
other
like
than
what I was
that, you
saying when I
just
said
looking
what
at shit.
like a lot of people don't be using it like that. People just be on there trying to be funny and shit, but they don't capitalize on their humor. It's like you if you're not willing to capitalize on it, they not paying you no fucking attention. If you got to be
Hmm.
willing to sell something.
Yep.
Otherwise, you just all they're gonna do is sell your fucking data. You might as well get something out of it because you are up for sale when you're on that shit. You know what I'm
That's the
saying? They
truth.
selling everything. They selling all your habits to the market. You know what I'm saying? That's why they got ads and shit on there. The ads are more important than us.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? The reason why they got ads on there is because the people who pay for those ads are paying for our eyes.
And everything is tailored to your personal algorithm in terms of what you've been liking, what you've been interacting with. Because, like, for example, this is funny too, because I just bought something because they little marketing work. The product is a good product, but it definitely bombarded me with different marketing things over months, wore me down to the point where I was like, well, let me try this product because I am looking for a product that's in this space that's better than what I'm currently using. And this is getting advertised to me constantly saying it's so good. Let me see.
Right.
So it's that deodorant Mando. Have y'all seen that
Mm-hmm.
commercial? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So about three or four other people that I asked, they had never heard of it. And I'm like, how did you never like this? These motherfuckers are in my ear at least 6 times a day. Like, how you
Yeah,
never
especially
see
if you
one
watching
commercial?
ESPN, it's all over ESPN. In
Right.
the morning
So
when you
that's
watching First
okay.
Take.
That's right. So they do have a little bit of some commercials like on actual TV too. So yeah, of course you would see it that way. But yeah, a lot of people didn't hear of it. But I was asking women, and they're not watching Sports Center unless it's like my sister or a few other different women that I know. But for the most part, they're not watching them channels. So that makes sense. But
Like think about it like this:
it's
if all three of us
tailored to
started,
you, what you're looking at.
if all three of us started an Instagram account at the exact same time, uh, I would say within 5 hours, it'll branch off and fractal off into some other shit for each one of us. And the only intersection will be what we have in common. And
Mm,
our Instagram experience will be so fucking vastly different. It'll be like we're using
mhm,
three different apps. You know what I'm saying? That's because Meta has mastered their algorithm. They know what the fuck they
mhm,
doing, bro. It's like keeping you. It's kind of like it's like keeping you in a cell. And the only time you get to interact is when it's time to go to the yard.
Mm,
mhm,
You know what I'm saying? That's why if you look at all the big news that kind of like that we all kind of know about, odds are we know about this big news. It's only big to us because we all share similar interests in a certain area. But if I break out a piece of news that I think is big to me and I present it to you, knowing that I got it from the same source you get your news from, you'll be like, I never heard about that.
yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And the reason why is because the algorithm fed it to me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, based on your interest or based on the shit that you done clicked on or the shit that you stared at longer than 5 seconds, we figure this would be interesting to you. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And, I mean, YouTube does it. Uh, that's why YouTube has it where like they'll give you like pre-roll on their videos and shit like that. If you watch it on TV or whatever, you use YouTube on TV, it'll play you
Mhm.
like what 10 seconds of the clip. If you watch that shit, that channel basically ends up in your fucking algorithm.
all down your feed.
Oh, not even from fully clicking on it, just from doing the
Right.
little arrow wave over and it play a few minutes of it or a few
Yeah.
seconds of
Few
it,
Because like I say, you
seconds
just
of
like
it.
not
curious as to
even
what they're talking
clicking.
about.
Yeah, because the fact that you
Right.
didn't
That
click off
right.
of it is like saying, "Oh, you have some interest in it." Yeah.
Huh.
And now subscribing and all that shit is just for the benefit of the creator. It ain't even for you. It's just for it's you know what I'm saying data collection pretty much.
Yeah.
That's how like reels too. Like if you think about like Instagram reels, some motherfuckers start up before you even fucking swipe past that shit.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Whether you
it's
got the
kind of like the
sound on or
way
not.
it's kind of like the way Dr. Dre likes it when he says when he listens to different producers who stop by to play beats for him. He said you got about what 10 seconds before I go to the next beat or whatever. So they gotta get your attention right away.
Mhm.
And like if you look at how you Facebook and Instagram do their reels, like they never take you to the creator. They just take you to that piece, you know what I'm saying, that's posted. And if you swipe off of it and come back to it, it should be gone. But it's only just long enough where you'll watch it on a fucking loop. You see what I'm saying? That's all. I mean, it's all to me. It's bigger. All of this shit is bigger than what it used to be in terms of like popping off, getting on, getting your shit, get some exposure and eyes on your shit. That shit is dead, bro. Like
Yeah.
if you ain't willing to play the game, if you're not keeping up with the score and ain't willing to play the game, you might as well just go ahead and get out of there.
I mean,
And
at the end of the
that's with any
day,
type of content creation.
Because it seems like
at
the
the
I mean, you
majority of
got
the people that's made money, they've made their money off of TikTok and or YouTube, not YouTube, Instagram already. It seems like it's kind of
yeah,
like over with for
for
that, or
Instagram,
and
you
YouTube as
gotta
well.
spend money. You gotta spend money, and that's the only way. Like I feel like YouTube and TikTok are the only ones to still have the ability for you to create something that'll just click and go viral.
I think the reason why YouTube flourishes is because Google, being his parent company,
Mm-hmm.
needs
Mm-hmm.
to collect that data because their AI is so fucking strong. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Every bit of engagement is data collection, so they could teach their AI. You know what I'm saying? It kind of take me back conversation we had with D Boy when he was talking about him doing his Rap Cap and Kicks channel. But that I mean, it only makes sense to do that if you're gonna be on this motherfucker, make some money off of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He found his lane. He
He
found a
did,
way to
man.
kind of
I was so happy when he figured that shit out, man. That was dope.
he tapped into it. He figured it out. He did some shit. He experimented. He said, "Shit, I'm still in post and all that shit." He said, "If I
Hmm.
could do it to see what like if this shit is so popular amongst people who ain't making no money off of it, let me post it. Let me repost it and see if I can make some money off of it." You know what I'm saying? And that's what all of them do. Every month, these fucking bot sites, all of them. And that's
Yeah.
another thing. They like to have you think that most of the engagement that you get is organic
Organic
only
and
because
natural.
they need you to believe it.
No, everybody's reposting and posting somebody else's material, man.
And it's bots and all that shit, B.
Hmm.
That's why I believe that Drake is naive and foolish in suing UMG because nobody gets to where he is without bots. Nobody gets to where he is without some manipulation of the system, setting up an algorithm. Nobody like you're not just that good, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? That shit ain't you wasn't born with it, my nigga. These motherfuckers threw some money at it.
Did you all ever see that
So
see
Anytime
that
you
special
even
on
hear
Vice where they
about,
had those guys on there with the computers already loaded up in the phones and they had everything hooked up and they said, you know, this is how certain record labels get their
yeah,
views for their artists. Like they
yeah,
call
streaming
us.
banks.
Yeah, yeah,
Streaming
yeah.
banks. Yeah.
They say they use us.
Like if I kept every last cell phone I had and I just had them active and I click play on all of them on a streaming service, I could probably manipulate the numbers by a little bit myself. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? If you had a bank of fucking cell phones and you had
yeah.
Spotify just lined up on all of them, and you just pick the one artist and that one song, and you just hit play on them, and just let the motherfucker keep spinning, and then come back to it, start it all over again. You know what I'm saying? Power some of them down so the battery don't overheat, and then start the next set of them up and do it all over again.
if an artist think that you can have a hit song without spending no money, then they are naive and don't even understand the way the record industry work right now. Because
Your
you
mic
literally
dropping out.
have to spend money.
Yeah. He should hook that other mic up because that joint is
Yeah, that lapel mic is kind of bugging.
yeah, man. He gonna double it up.
I'm gonna put two of them on.
I don't use the other one as much, so it probably got more juice.
Is that the mic you use when you do your clips?
Uh huh. Yeah. Is this better than the other one, or do I still need to switch?
I mean, it
No,
sounds clean.
it sound okay, but
The
in a
other one was
minute,
just dropping out.
yeah. We'll see what happens in a minute when you talking, when you got something to say.
No, I was just saying you might have to cut that out, but it's like the way that these artists think they could just drop songs and not spend no money on stuff and still have success. That man, you gotta have something that can really go viral in a very visceral way. Other than that, I don't know if it's gonna happen without you putting,
Technically,
the
it ain't even about the
traditional
it ain't even
money
about the
around
product no more. It ain't even about the product no more. It ain't about the music. It ain't about the movie. It ain't about the clip. It ain't about none of that no more. Like we like to believe that our art means something to the world. And there's a small niche of it that still does exist. You know what I'm saying? People who still buy physicals and stuff like that. But when it comes to like the actual machine, when you actually dealing with this system the way it is structured now, that shit dead in the water, bro. Like, yeah, you put some money into the pot and try to get the little buzz you need, but how you gonna compete against this fucking big ass conglomerate that's in cahoots with everybody? You know what I'm saying? Like they are literally invested in SoundCloud. They're invested in the streaming services. You know what I'm saying? They got money. Hell, fucking YouTube Music is what Leor Cohen. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like, come on, bro. What are we doing? This dude, Leor, was what president of Def Jam for a
Def
period of
Jam,
time.
yeah, and then he went
Yeah,
over
yeah,
to
Warner Brothers.
Atlantic. Was it Atlantic
No, he was at
Records?
Warner Brothers.
No, he was at
Yeah.
Atlantic for a while too, right?
Oh, he was at Warner Brothers
Warner
maybe
Brothers
after
is
that.
part
Then.
of Atlantic. When they
Yeah,
merged, yeah, Warner Brothers became part
Oh,
of
okay,
Atlantic.
that's probably how that happened. Then.
yeah, and then after that, he started changing the way music and everything was going. And so he said, "Well, let me go over here and sit at the top of what was going on internationally or globally, and I just have a position there." And he's been controlling
And they
that
go
ever
back
since.
and it go back to like the whole thing I was saying earlier off mic when we saying how like Like the government pay for this shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? The government pay for this shit. Like it might even be bigger than the government paying for it now because these motherfuckers make hand over fist money. They don't need the government money, but the government paid for it at some point in time. It's like everything you see today was already set. It was a play. All of this shit is a fucking play. Why
The
you think
thing that's
all these major artists started to rebel once they reached a certain point?
I
You know what
feel
I'm saying?
like
Don't
it's
nobody want to be
above the
fucking.
government because we always talk about this as far as like presidents and all of that. Does it really mean anything? Because at the end of the day, it's some family, it's some corporation that really holding the real power. That's who really saying like, oh, let's like for example, and I hate to throw this person under the bus, but I can't stand them, so I don't super hate throwing them under the bus. But a sexy red, why are they all up in our face and they have no talent? It's really back to what Six was saying in the sense of the people who run it, they gonna put who they want in the positions to influence people a certain way. So now you got another dumb girl influencing women to be on some dumb girl shit. Like, why are we putting her in the front when it's that's why I'm glad that girl Dochi know how to, use her looks and other things to get herself in a position to be able to have a message to influence women in a more positive way because they want to put a sexy red in your face. That's what they really want to do. So they'll be just idiots out here.
I think it's I think the play behind all that though is the same play that's going on with the drill scene. I think
Mm,
the play
mm,
is
mm.
I think the play is really just about low hanging fruit. You know what I'm saying? Something that can be replicated. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to replicate a Doechii. It's hard to replicate a Kendrick. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And actually financially capitalize. That's why Drake is one of them artists where he's gifted enough as an actor where he can play the part. You see what I'm saying? You don't how many rappers are actually actors outside of being like they're just pretending to be something. But like Drake is literally
An
a
actor
trained actor.
before he was a rapper, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so like he's the total package. He's already media trained, all that shit. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So that's why his rebellion against the system is so important to the conversation
Do you think
because
his case is legit?
I mean legit in the way of uh telling on telling on the teacher for giving you good grades even though your mama paid for those good grades. You see what I'm saying? It's like all he doing is exposing some shit. He has the ability of exposing some shit that everybody already said happened. It's almost like saying like Jay Electronica was married to that Rothschild chick. If he decided to just come out and say, you know what, everything you thought of was true. I was fucking this bitch and yeah, where every the Illuminati is real and I saw it. That's what that looked like to me.
Okay,
You know what I'm
gotcha.
saying? So like Drake, like all he doing is really just putting a hand grenade in his pants at this point.
Mm.
He blowing up his whole little shit because they not gonna let it rock. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna make him look crazy. You saw what they did to Ye.
Yeah, that's what I
Mm.
do. That's where I was going next. Do you think they're gonna end up trying to make him look like
They're gonna do it different.
yeah,
They're gonna do it
Yeah, they
differently
got to
they're
do it
gonna
because
different
Ye is
yeah.
way
because
more.
Ye
Ye is
plays
more
into
eccentric.
you
He's more eccentric, and I
right.
think
He
I think
plays
with
into what
Ye,
and,
makes
and Ye
it
is
he
easier.
did it for a purpose of wanting people to see that they calling me crazy, so I'm gonna play crazy. But at the same time, if something happens to me, everybody will see what's going on. So they can't say that it
and
was me, it
Ye
was you all.
and Ye firmly believes in his art.
Hmm.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? He firmly believes in his capabilities, whereas Drake, I don't even think it has anything to do with the art or his capabilities. He just like the fame and the money. You know what I'm saying? He
Mm.
he like he like what comes with being Drake.
Being the
You know what
rapper.
I'm saying?
Mm.
All right. He get to live out his fantasy.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Whereas Kanye is like literally just a dude who kind of broke through. And yeah, he got influenced by the system because the system always going to try to entice you. Everybody,
Right.
everybody who get a little bit of access and money gonna be enticed. It's about whether or not you're gonna stand your ground and you're gonna go with the flow. And I can't think of no scenario where motherfucker didn't break down and still flourish. Everybody they either got offered whatever they got offered and they turned it down and you ain't see them no more, or they went into some underground independent shit, or they went along with it and
Mm-hmm.
they got whatever came with that. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't like the game is not gonna you can't beat the house. You know what I'm saying? The house gonna win. It's a casino in that motherfucker, bro.
Yeah, the wheel is already being invented,
Yeah. Like they and the music industry as it stands ain't even that fucking old. So they really mastered this shit. They got it down pat and they've been using us the whole time to get it done.
Facts.
That's
And
why that's what I'm telling you. This whole shit is a fucking it's a play.
yeah, and
This whole shit is a
it came
play.
from lawyers getting
Entertainment.
together. Yeah, it came from lawyers getting together in the very beginning, looking at it and going, yo, we can control this, or we can get people together and invite them in to do this, man. So
I think it's more nefarious than that.
I'm just talking about
I
the
think it's
start
way
of
more
it.
nefarious than that. I think that they saw what niggas was able to do communication wise over
Correct.
the centuries,
Hmm.
and they was like, they keep doing this shit amongst themselves in secret, and we can't really capitalize on it. Let's throw some money at them and see whether or not that'll get them to share what they're doing with us.
Not only capitalize on it,
And
but
now,
how do we control them sending messages to one another? Because that was our
yeah,
form of signal, right? The
and
music,
every
the
time, and
braids, and everything else.
every iteration of creativity is us sending messages to each other. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Hip hop was us doing that again. We were like, you know what? They keep on cracking our code. Let's try this one. You know what I'm saying? So my question is like, what's the next version of that for us? What's our next thing?
Mm. Because
You
it's
see what I'm
gonna be the
saying?
next thing. Because
It's
every
going to be because we don't
so
stop.
many decades of us doing the art form, we always come up with something that changed the world again. Because we every like you said, even you know what? Because I'm glad this is recording because I feel like this isn't said enough, and I know you being a student of music, you gonna know where probably already know where I'm going with this to a degree. This has been from classical music all the way to now because everything was made by us. Because even going back to the quote unquote dark ages when Africans went to Europe and pretty much was basically teaching them
Civilized
how to
as.
be civilized, right? Who brought the instruments? They didn't know how to do none of that shit. All the pianos, woodwinds, all the stuff they use for classical instruments, we brought that there
A piano is
and
nothing
was
but a harp
playing it.
turned flat.
Yeah.
That's all it is. A
And they
piano.
just put and the crazy part about it, it's only 12 notes.
It's only
It's only
12
12
notes to
fucking
play,
notes.
bro.
It's a
It's only,
play.
that's it.
And the thing is also is like because of the way that this is structured in a modern era, I think they cracked the code in terms of kind of like stifling our ability to communicate with each other because now our avenues of communication are limited to mostly internet shit. Wait, I don't own a fucking pressing plant to make up records and CDs. I
Hmm.
don't own a fucking pressing plant to make up cassette tapes. And hell, half the fucking devices that play that shit, you gotta fucking go to them to get that shit. You know what I'm saying? Unless you got an old fucking tape deck and you know how to keep that motherfucker running for 50 to 100 more years, or you can keep on building those motherfuckers yourself. You see what I'm saying? Streaming services. Record companies fucking are fucking knee deep in business with these streaming services. So if you want to post your music there, guess what? You got to get they okay. You get what I'm saying?
The
Like
only
if I
person
really
I
want to
know
like
that may
I,
own a plant, a pressing plant or anything, maybe Tech Nine if he still has it.
and think about it like this. Tech Nine is financially stable and how much he's benefited from his independence. When you look at the grand scheme of like his popularity, he's still like underground legend versus like what he probably could be if he played the game.
Absolutely.
So that
Absolutely.
means that he's still operating outside the door of this business.
Yeah.
You
Of
know
the
what I'm saying? Yeah, he
mainstream.
got his music. He still got to go through the streaming services if he want to be heard outside of physical media.
Hmm.
Unless he can find a way to start his own servers and build up his own fucking server bank for streaming. It's it's not as easy as it used to be. I remember pressing up CDs and selling them motherfuckers hand to hand and getting people on board with the product that I was pushing at the time. And this
Mm-hmm.
shit was fun as fuck. It was expensive,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a
Can't
more
even do
fulfilling.
that now. Who got a CD player? Who
You know what
even
I'm saying?
have
Most
them in
cars
their
don't even come with
crib?
them no more.
No, they don't even come
No,
with
the
them.
computers don't have a CD deck on it. And
Nope,
I
at
spending
all.
No, everything is
thousands of
software based.
dollars on the computer. You can't even put a
You can't even
CD or
play. Nope, you gotta
DVD,
buy it. You gotta buy that
Blu-ray,
You
separately.
nothing.
can buy it separate.
You
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
gotta buy it separate just to have it.
Mm-hmm.
And most people, and then you think about it, like our generation is the only ones that kind of find value in that. The younger
Right.
generation don't give a fuck about that because it's all
And
about
that's we
they've been
gonna lose
raised
so much shit, man.
they've been
Like,
raised on the convenience.
They
okay,
say they're
think
thinking about
about
bringing
this.
the CDs back.
Well, think about this, right? Like, say some cataclysmic thing happen in the next shit, even 100, 200 years from now, to where everything is damn near erased or whatever. The way we have shifted everything into this non-physical, everything cloud based, electron, whatever. If an alien race came here, they gonna think the peak of our society was like 1999 or 2003 or some shit, when we still had physical evidence of shit that we did. Because
Mm.
after
Yeah,
that,
our physical. Yeah,
everything else is gone. If all the computers and shit is gone, it's gonna look like we just stopped in the early 21st century and been
You ain't
going.
you
We
right about
already
that.
been going 20 something years after that, and it's gonna look like, it's
You
crazy,
right about that, boy.
yep.
you know. So I just, as a message to whoever listening, if you are artist, visual or musical, whatever, make physical copies of things that you have. Like, if it's a way for you to put some on wax, if you got stuff to print, put it on a canvas, put it on a poster. Like, you need physical evidence, because the way it is now, everything is in this, digital format of physical lessness, and we will lose a lot of things.
I think that, and I had posted something about this last night. Let me see what I said. It's it was just a thought I had, and I said something like, I said, creative people recognize the emptiness of society, and that all that's there is all that's left. So creative people work to recapture the best parts of being a kid to share with the rest of the world to remind them of what life is really all about.
Mm.
Because if you're not a creative, you really don't tap into the wonders of what this could be. You know what I'm saying? People who sculpt, they see a block of clay and they can turn it into something. You know what I'm saying? If you're a painter, you see these colors and you try to figure out this combination of colors to, you know what I'm saying? It keeps your wheels going. But people who aren't creative, I believe every human being has that in them, but it's been turned
In
off
different ways.
through indoctrination. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Some of us are still left that still create or find ways to be creative. You know what I'm saying? It's an outlet as well. It's a form of expression that's uninterrupted. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Shit,
don't need.
some people are using it on a job because they don't want to do the independent route. Some of them prefer to do it at the job, you know?
And
I
everybody
don't even
not
think it's
meant
a
to be an
preference. I don't think it's a
entrepreneur.
preference, bro. I think it's for some people it's all they got.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, if I'm gonna make this money, I'm gonna do it this way. That's how they look at it. Like people who are mechanics. I work with, you know what I'm saying? I work with mechanics on my job who the way they're gonna make the type of money it takes to sustain them, because sustainability is really what it's all about when you become an adult. It's just not to be homeless. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers don't love going to work for another motherfucker just to do what they love to do. They do it because it's a trade-off. It's a choice in the trade-off. You know what I'm saying? It's like they compromise. Like, because if you believe me, if every fucking creative could do it on their own and
They
still
do it.
live a fruitful life, everybody would be doing it.
Mm-hmm. That's
You
a
know what I'm
fact.
saying?
Facts.
I've been
It'll
talking
be
too much.
no, you good. You good. You keeping the conversation alive. I think what Creed said is valuable as well, dude. Like, what would you do if they came down and just saw those on everything on a digital format, and they wiped everything out from that point on? Like, we're gonna take everything from here and go.
We had an EMP. All it takes is an EMP and all this shit
Wipes
is
it
done.
out.
Gone.
We back in the dark ages.
Wipes
Yeah.
it
And
out.
the
You know what
only
I'm saying?
thing that's going to exist is the things that we actually committed to some type of physical
Yeah.
media. And hopefully, you have things that could still play
Some
those
type of
things.
tangible good, some physical
Mhm.
copy or something.
Yeah.
Do you have six? Do you have copies of all that music we made? Yada yada yada. Did you put it here? Did you do that? Did you do it this
Right.
way? But if they came down and just said, all right,
Give us an
shut them
example.
down.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Or we'll shut everything down from this point going forward. How would you be
Right.
able to do that?
And I think also, like, on the other end of that though, because I use what Canada's threatening to do. Well, what's it? Quebec, Canada's threatening to do. They're talking about because they. I don't know if you remember back in '03 where it had the brownout over on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of New York was, what I'm saying, no power.
Mm-hmm.
They talking about cutting their power ties with the United States because of some tariff threat that Trump put out there. If they black out that quadrant of the United States, man, financially the United States is going to be struggling for a few months to a year because we got to power ourselves, and I don't think we got the grid for it. That's why we share that resource with them.
Interesting. And the
You
tariff
know what
is
I'm
just
saying?
another tax for it, right? For
The way tariffs work is imported good is the tariff is a tax that's put on the shipper, not the source.
mm-hmm.
So if I wanted to fucking shit tax fucking Amazon for goods that come to my house, the only way I could do that is by raising the price on UPS and FedEx for delivering it.
Mm.
So technically Amazon never even feel the fucking pain.
No, it'll be you, the
Mhm.
person who's getting the
And the only
goods.
thing what happen
Right,
is
because they
UPS
gonna
will have to
pass that
charge.
on to the
They will
consumer
charge.
every time,
Yeah, yeah.
and
That's why this shit don't work. That's why it don't
it.
work.
It's so interesting to me, like getting just transparency before I get into this. I'm not saying that Kamala Harris was gonna be some amazing president, anything like that, but the things that we already saw in the first term of Trump and the things that he actually blatantly been telling us that he wants to do in this next term, why would anybody that isn't a rich person vote for him? It's like literally the way that they brainwashed and used all these different things like trans people and all these different things to get people to go his route, and it's so many things that they're about to do that's not going to serve a lot of people that voted for him. Like
You know what?
it was a clip of somebody talking about, yeah, I can't wait till they get rid of that Obamacare. Meanwhile, he's using Affordable Care Act, which is Obamacare. That's just the other slang name for it. So he wants something to get rid of that he's actually utilizing because they didn't framed it in some racist rhetoric. And it's just like mind boggling.
It's like this, bro. So we had this thing that happened in the black community, and it's been consistent for the last 50 years in terms of being religiously Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? No questions asked. We religiously Democrat. We watched a whole generation of people raised in single parent homes, kind of like becoming the new voting bloc. We watched, you see what I'm saying? All these different things that factor in. It's the same thing that happens on the other side of that. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're just seeing it from the Democratic perspective. The same delusion that's required to be religiously Democrat is the same delusion that's required to be religiously Republican. It's
Yeah.
just you selling it from a different need. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? A different desire. So like
Ah,
I work with a bunch of fucking Republicans and I listen to them
mm-hmm.
talk and I can appreciate their perspective on shit like that. And I don't have a question. I'm not going to challenge them. There ain't no debate. I just want to hear it. I just want to hear what they got to say because it's interesting. Had I lived my entire life in the city of Chicago, I probably wouldn't even have these types of conversations with motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? All I know is what I would know. But to hear the way they kind of like the way they paint the narrative as to what their reasoning is and what their expectations are, they sound like us. They sound like us from the other side of the street. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I know all this shit is manipulation. It's all mental manipulation, bro. Like you can't ever break free if you hanging on to the promise of a motherfucker who looked down on you.
Well, I
You see what I'm
think
saying?
this last election was lost by the Democrats because one thing that they don't really think about for some reason, and I feel like as I'm getting older, I'm seeing it more and more, and even having my own views be this way. Black people and Latinos and Asians and Indians and all these different minorities, it's a lot of conservative views within those different demographics that
It almost always happened.
align with a lot of Republican views still, and that's
It
why
always happened.
they
We're the
lost
most
a
family oriented.
lot of brown people this time because number
Brown
one,
people are
they was
highly
insulting the fuck out of us with Kamala Harris the way she was having
pandering
Megan
the
the
shit.
Stallion and all that. Like, I'm not stupid. You need to come at me with intelligence. That's what would the time when you think about it, the times that the Democrats have beat Republicans is because they put an ultra smart person that was sharp that was a Democrat. That's besides Joe Biden. I think people just was sick of Trump. But when you think of how Obama won, that's he had to come in there like like everything I'm saying sound correct. I'm logical, all this shit. I'm making these Republicans look as ridiculous as they are. But when you got somebody combating that with a twerking rap artist and all of that shit, it don't hit the same.
Fam,
I'm of the
when she
mindset
went up there on that Breakfast Club, bro, and they asked her who was her favorite rapper to listen to growing up, and she said Tupac. I
You
was like,
too
yeah, this a
old.
rap. It's a rap. How is it Tupac?
Tupac is y'all
Tupac wasn't
about
even out when she was
He
growing
was a
up.
within
He was
child
2
already
when
years of each other's age if he was still alive right now. Literally, they about the same
right.
age.
Yeah. I think that it's one of the things kind of like what they say your defense attorney, your prosecutor, and the judge all go play golf after your case is over. It's the exact same thing, bro. It's like
it
they all
is.
just
It
fucking
is. All of
it's
them
the
cool
same
with each
shit.
other.
So like they get up in the ring and do the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson shit for us. But then when it's all over, they shaking hands and they go have dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
And
It's
sign
like
off on the money that they may sign off on the checks that they're gonna
like
get.
I told somebody anyway. I was like, dude, this whole Joe Biden presidency was setting it up for Trump to come back. And they're
Mhm.
like, how? Because he a felon. I said, dude, I said, what's the alternative? I said, what's the alternative? I said, even they're like, well, if Joe Biden drop out, then that's another thing they didn't consider. She could have already been president if he'd have just
Got out the way. Just
conceded.
resign.
Yeah,
Hey,
he
let
just
me
stepped out the
resign.
way.
Let me
So
resign.
so
I'm having health issues. Let me resign.
the play was never for her to be in there in the first place. Because
Ever.
if it was, then she would have been proven to be a good enough person to replace Biden before all of this shit even transpired.
Mm-hmm.
Because they
You know what
could
I'm
have
saying? It
took
was just a
them out
play.
halfway in the term and put her in place if they really wanted to do that. You right. It was all a setup. All this is a game because
Yeah.
he's the face of the lot of the policies and things that they want to put in place. They're using him and the Republican regime to put that in place, but it was going to get put in place regardless. It just looked better if they doing it because it more aligns with the way that that party has been portrayed anyway. This is literally like a story of good guys versus bad guys is somebody writing. And
A
this is
Marvel, it's
this
a
is
Marvel movie.
literally dog. This is literally like Empire Strikes Back. This is what we living in right now. This is the Empire Strikes Back.
But aren't
Fucking
the
last
presidencies kind
movie
of
was the
ran?
rebut the what is it? The Rebellion won the last movie. Now the Empire Strikes Back. That's where we at right now. Literally, that's where we living.
Aren't the
If you want to
presidencies run like
structure it like that.
12-8, 12-8? Aren't the presidencies ran like that? 12-8, 12-8, Republican, Democrat, Republican, Democrat. 12 years,
Yeah,
8
we've
years,
had a
12 years,
couple.
8 years.
This this
It's four.
this
It's 4-8, 4-8.
time is disjointed because of the way things went, but typically it does go that way.
Mm.
Because I'm looking at like because George W. Bush he ran. He got his two
Got his
terms. They said he stole the
yeah.
second one. They said he stole the second one. Then Obama
Yeah, he
came
stole
behind
the
him.
first one. The second one was a landslide because Kerry was trash. The first one
But
was
that's what they do,
definitely
bro.
stolen.
That's what they do to legitimize the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? They put you up against somebody that is undoubtedly inferior. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because we keep on again go back to the fractal concept. Like everything is splintering off into these different small factions amongst us as people. You know what I'm saying? Like you said about the conservatism. Like black people, brown people have been historically conservative anyway. We always like majorly uh family oriented, religious, blah, blah,
Religious,
blah.
yeah.
And only in the last fucking 20 years, less than that, have we started showing more liberal views on things. And that's only through mental manipulation and fucking social media, bro. You know what I'm saying? They start making us look at each other like we are our own enemies. You know what I'm saying? Like none of this was possible before social media. Like you couldn't turn us against each other before.
No. And Obama used social media because that was kind of like the beginnings of it as far as running for president. He used that to his advantage well.
At that time.
Yeah, at that point in time, he had a whole campaign group of people working on that, making sure they pushed
Yeah.
that thing to the max for him. And they did well. They did it right. But now this shit is just out of control, man. I don't know how do you galvanize black people and use social media. I think it's kind of you need some type of major movement using some type of emotional trigger or something to get us all involved and want to run
I
for a presidency.
we just
Man, we need
lost
to
right
we need to
now.
get back to talking to each other. We need to get back to
Yes.
actually having conversations.
Are you
We
saying we
don't
need to
do that no more.
communicate more? Are you
We
saying
need to
that?
communicate amongst each other.
Wow.
We
Imagine
don't do
that.
that no more. We don't do that no more, bro. Everything is like just like we don't even have the fucking attention span. And I'm not talking about us. Our generation is already like we not even a priority no more. So the youth aren't necessarily being engaged in the way where the conversation is being had. You know what I'm saying? It's all through likes and views and the algorithm, bro.
Well, you also got to consider, especially being a parent. I know you saw this firsthand with even if it wasn't in your own household, just seeing the way other people was raising kids that was around you. This whole what anything from what 2005, 2006 going forward, these are iPad babies. Like all of them was raised with electronics in their hand from day one, babysitting them.
Yep.
Their attention span is in the fucking toilet. Like when I even interact with like little teenagers and stuff now, it make my head hurt. Like I literally while we've been on, my homegirl was texting me because she trying to get something for her son for Christmas. This fool want some $900 Jordans
Woo.
just out the blue. Like I want some Black Cat fours. They ain't made them shoes in 5-6 years. You know how Jordans are. If it's dead stock, they about to tax you. So she
Mm-hmm.
looking it up. This is $900. Then she like everything on his list is like $300 and up. It's like they don't even have like even when we was kids asking for stuff, we had a like, okay, I know mom could kind of do this, that, and third, so I'm gonna keep it cool. They don't even have no concept that kids that even have parents that don't even make as much money as her still be acting like weird like that because
Yeah.
they just basing everything on social media.
My question is this, bro, because and again, this is from my personal experience and being a parent, right?
Yeah, I keep going. I'm
Why
gonna
is
step
it
away for a second. Keep going.
all right? What's the problem with parents just saying, nah, let me teach you some financial responsibility. Let me teach you some things that'll be useful to you. A lot of these motherfuckers are really ducking and dodging that form of accountability because they don't want to be the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? And I could never wrap my head around that. And also, it's like this idea of running away from poverty got these motherfuckers scared to just say no. Like they don't want to. They don't want their
Mm,
kids. You see what I'm saying? Like I grew up broke and I've been told no 100 times and I don't want my kids to experience that. Nigga, the best thing a motherfucker ever told me was no.
Yeah, because
Because it
that
made me
makes
figure
you
it out.
ready for what the life. You gonna get more no's than yeses in life, and especially
Man,
um for a woman raising a boy, you better get him ready for what life is. That shit gonna be like yes all the time or easy all the time. Like for us, especially no. So you definitely got to get him ready for what life is.
I think it's even deeper than that, man, because like it's like you have it's factors that go into it. Like you're not only preparing them for adulthood, you preparing the young boy for manhood. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how different or the same that they say we are. There are some absolute, some set in stone differences that have to be discovered and explored and talked about when you're raising young boys and young women. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Because there's no like, yeah, it's a lot of shit that women can do that men can do. It's a lot of shit that men can do that women can do. But by and large, there are very few fucking scenarios that are in place that actually show those benefits playing out in real time. You get what I'm saying? Like when you got a young boy and he just want to sit at home and play video games and he grow up to be a young man and all he's ever done was sit up at home and play video games because mama's scared to let him go outside and get hurt.
No social skills.
What
I don't
kind
know
of
what
man
y'all
he gonna
talking about,
become when
bro.
he what kind of man he gonna grow up to be when it's time for him to actually interact with women? You know what I'm
Not
saying?
good.
Now he's sitting up now he mad at women because they don't give him attention. Because these young girls was raised on the opposite side of that. And
Hmm.
they were raised to believe that a man should do everything for them. Because they watched their mama struggle or their mama told them, don't get you no man who ain't got no money. But these same mamas is raising these boys to not go get money.
It
And now
make
you
it
got
make sense.
yeah, it's a contradiction. It's a fucking contradiction. It's a we live this is what we dealing with now. Them same young kids, the ones you was talking about, the iPad babies, they grown now, bro. They in the workforce now. They out here in the streets. They jumped off the porch and they not ready for it. I watched a young girl have a fucking anxiety attack on the job because it was too many commands for her to fucking remember to do. And she went
Mm.
home early. You
Wow.
see what I'm saying? She couldn't handle it because now her social interactions are have demands attached to them. You
Right.
know what I'm
And they
saying?
didn't before. Just even like the way the social structure in elementary school and high school was for us growing up is completely different now. It's so much of what is it? Just getting awards, what is it, participation awards,
Hmm.
the competition level is low. That's why like when I see these young athletes, the ones that are like, still rising and still having that nature about them, I give like the Juju Watkins and all these young kids that's in college and they ball like how did you do this in your generation? Because it's just a whole bunch of people who don't have that drive anymore. It's not getting it still. So the people that's showing it in the younger ages, like I give them all the props in the world, and their parents are awesome or something
It's
because
resources, bro. It's
that
resources.
too,
Having
yeah.
having community and having resources. Like my kids was in sports, my kids was in martial arts. They had a structured life, man. They had
Mm-hmm.
like a idea of like how to set schedules for themselves and have something to look forward to on a daily basis. When you got parents who, especially, and they go back to what I was saying earlier, like when you got motherfuckers out here who just, you know what I'm saying, flying by the seat of their pants, they don't really invest in their kids and shit like that because they still trying to be fucking kids themselves.
Mm.
You end up with this fucking chaos. Now these motherfuckers, I'm telling you, they out here, bro. They are literally living amongst us, and they have demands, and they part of the voting block and shit, bro.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like this is all by design. This shit is all structured this way. Like we like to blame the technology. The technology is just a tool to get this
To get
result.
us there. That's it. That's
You know
it.
what I'm
It,
saying?
it. it basically co-opted your brain into thinking that this is the way it was supposed to go instead of you going the other way.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers are literally
Or
motherfuckers like
coaxed, not co-opted. Maybe I should say coaxed your brain. But anyway.
motherfuckers literally be like, I don't, I don't, I don't even have to. I don't know how to get there. I'm gonna have to use Google Maps to figure it out. Like they literally
Mm.
came in. Like if we lost all of this fucking technology, motherfuckers would be stuck, and they'll be looking at the OGs like, "Hey, save me."
Yep.
I keep telling motherfuckers, ain't nobody coming to save us. As men, ain't nobody coming to save us. I don't give like I don't care what you identify as. When it comes down to it, if society needed you, could you step up and play your part? That's what it comes down to.
My nigga, do y'all
Can you
remember the
step into the
days of
role?
having a map? Your family having a map to drive to certain
Can you
places?
read can you read diagrams, my nigga? Can you do you know what the Allen wrench is?
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? You know what a
mm,
crescent wrench is, my nigga? You
mm.
know what I'm saying? For real.
Yeah,
I
it's a
mean,
reason why a lot of the dudes in our age group is pulling a lot of the younger women because the men that's in their lane, they don't even know how to be men. And it ain't even their fault. I feel for them. And I'm from a single
plus these young
mother,
niggas walking
but
around with
she
bonnets
made
on and
sure that
shit.
I learned the stuff that I needed to learn. She put me with my uncles and some. She was like, yeah, you got to learn stuff because you a
Man.
boy.
I learned everything I need to know about cars by sitting up watching my pop work on his car.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And when I needed shit worked on my car, he'll bring his tools over and he'll have me do the work and he'll just talk me through it
Mm.
and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? He showed me how to buy the manual. You know what I'm saying? What all of these different things. It's like these are like life skills that most young people don't even find value in because the life of convenience is overwhelming.
Mhm.
And on top of that, most of they OGs ain't really doing the OG thing.
Well, even to take it further, like just to kind of like pivot towards like the dating thing to a degree, not fully, but I feel like a lot of the issues that we have as men and women getting along is this perception of, oh, from a woman perspective, like, oh, I don't need a man for anything. But actually you do, because everything in your life, the structures
It's
were built
provided
by
by a
men.
man.
You
Yeah.
just not
You're
necessarily
not fucking them.
needing a man in your household per se, right? What you said.
Yeah.
But
Right. You just not fucking them.
um you still need us. The fact that they try to like act like, oh, we're so unnecessary. Drive down the road, ma'am, because who made it? Who made that building?
Who
Who, like, it's
maintains
still
who
us
it's ice in the
doing
streets.
stuff.
Who's putting the salt down?
Even if you're not in that person's household, you still benefiting from a man existing and working to make your life easier. That's literally
you
the
if you
purpose
need
of how
roadside
we
assistance,
move, is
if you
to
need
make life
roadside assistance,
easier for women and children. That is
yeah,
literally our purpose.
that's our mission. That's our mission.
It's literally our fucking purpose.
And you know why? It's because when they're happy, they're not yelling and screaming, and we can actually think about the next
And
mission.
have some damn peace.
Yeah.
If I make sure all that shit is cool, they gonna shut the fuck up, and then I could go in this room with some quiet and do the shit I
Right.
like to do.
And just
Right.
decompress. Yeah,
Man.
decompress.
Oh
I
man.
told my girl one day, because she's like, how come you don't want to how come every time we go out and you decide to go out with the guys, you don't ask me to go? I said, because you're not fun. And she's like, what do you mean? I said, cuz I said I could think of a million different scenarios where me and the guys are having our guy conversation, and that'd be the most engaging shit. And I said, you'd be sitting over in the cut just on your phone anyway, just chilling.
Mm-hmm.
I said, what you need to be
Thumbing
there
through,
for?
scrolling,
Yeah, what you
scrolling.
need to be there for? You could do that from wherever the hell you are. You ain't got to be there with me to do that. And on top of that, now I'm responsible for safety. I got to keep you safe and shit like that while you with me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I
And
gotta
Like,
go.
that's
I
what
gotta
they
watch the
don't think
conversation
about.
that we having as well, making sure ain't nobody trying to pull one.
you know what I'm
Like,
saying?
what
Like,
is one of the main things women will be like, oh, I can't, I love being around my man because I could shut my brain off. They literally, like,
Mm-mm.
how many
yeah,
times, come
yeah.
on, like, let me talk about it real quick. How many times have all three of us been on a date with a girl or whatever? And you know, this is somebody you've been with for a while, so they feel safe with you, all that, which is great. We love that. We want you to feel like that. However, it's like a somewhat of a negative side effect to where they just literally do not pay attention. Like, I've had to like stop a girl from walking into a pole multiple times. Like, that's how, like, they like, I'm with my man. I'm like, but kind of pay attention a little bit because I'm still trying to make sure the perimeter
Surveying
good,
everything.
we good, all
Yeah.
this. And I'm trying. I can't even focus on that because you about to walk into a damn telephone pole. Like, bam, like the fuck.
I tell my kids this all the time. I was like, we went to high school, grammar school. We was, you know what I'm saying? They always had the special needs kids, special ed kids separated from the general population in their own classrooms and shit like that, right? And I asked my kids, like, where do you think the kids wound up at? And they was like, damn, they out here with us.
Yep.
I said,
And we
exactly.
don't know.
And like I said, you out here fucking on them and all this other shit. You know, like you thinking
The lawyer girl definitely was some dude that was on the short bus. And he
right. And
breaking
but she
her
got a
back
type though.
too.
But she got a type. She wonder why he a thug. They ain't think he thuggish. They ain't even think he just like they think that he's street and shit. Like, no, this nigga can't think past age 13. He's stuck.
Yep.
They like 45 years old, he's still
Big
sagging.
muscle
Ma'am,
head.
what are we doing? And when he get angry, his only emotional response is violence. Ma'am, what are we doing?
But I love
Like,
him.
what? All right, I think
He
I can change
nice.
him. I think I can fix him.
Okay.
Like,
Good luck.
all right, special ed teacher.
The man
All right, do
is
your thing.
coined. I'm using
All
the
right,
fuck out of that.
Hold on,
He's
special
special
ed
ed
teacher.
teacher asshole.
all
Wow.
right. Go ahead,
Wow.
solve his problems. Go ahead, solve his problems. You got this. You know what I'm saying?
That's in the vocab forever now. That's too good because that's like
Hey, but all
perfect.
right,
A special ed teacher. Oh my, yes. That
yeah. Now, the reason why your like I don't know if you realize it or not, but your nigga defective. Like it ain't that he a bad man. He ain't bad. You know what I'm saying?
His
He just ain't
packaging was
he
just
didn't
fucked
come
up.
he ain't, you know what I'm
oh
saying? You know, like when you buy a piece of furniture and it's missing something, you know what I'm
Man,
saying? When you go to
that's
put it
what I'm
together,
saying.
you know what I'm saying? He missing something. That's all. Shit.
they be like
And on
all
top of
those
that,
things you
and
just named.
outside of that, bro, think about like it ain't even necessarily the special needs shit. It's like motherfuckers raised in a household that was just full of trauma.
Yeah. Oh yes. Which
You know what I'm
is
saying? You
what
don't
That's
like
pushes
another
the
thing.
women don't have
situation.
these conversations with men. They don't even want to hear that shit.
No. Oh,
You know what I'm saying? Don't a woman want to hear about
God
all the bad
forbid
shit in your
we're
life?
humans and went through stuff and have emotions and
Yeah.
might cry sometimes like any
That's
other
why they
human because they be like turned off if you show human qualities as a fucking man. That's weird.
but they got the nerve to say some shit like, before you approach me, come healed already. Like, bitch, you ain't even healed.
You ain't healed. What are you
That's why you
talking
in your
about?
15th relationship.
Man. And
Come
you
healed
out here
already.
talking about some accept me for me, but I gotta come healed.
Yeah. You
What?
know how childish that is? You know how foolish and childish that is to say, accept me for me?
No,
Accept me as I am.
no.
But
Lady, lady,
would
what are we talking
never
about?
in the
He
history of
said,
the
lady,
universe
what are you
accept a
talking about?
man for what they are, and we came with that same bullshit. They gonna look at us funny than a motherfucker.
Yeah, we toxic.
That's
We
what
become
is
toxic.
crazy. Shit crazy.
Yeah.
Mm,
But
mm, mm.
this world we live in now, bro. It's like we just
What world we live
we
in?
do
And we
what we're
should put
supposed to do and adapt.
the future meme right there as the evil world we live in. It should come right where you said that because like that's what the fuck this is. Like, okay, just for like this reminded me of a conversation I was just having last night. I went to a little Christmas party and I was showing my friend how ridiculous these dating apps are in a sense of like girls, and I've asked my female friends who are on dating apps and all this stuff, and I'd be like, "Oh, so if you were on an app and you came across some men's profiles, and it was like their Cash App or Venmo was on there, well, how would you feel about that person?" And they'd be like, "Oh my God, that's he a bum.
Yeah,
He
broke
this,
you.
Right,
blah, blah,
he
blah."
begging
I
his
was like,
begging
and
ass.
I'm like, so you might need to have some talks with the people in your female constituency because y'all be on that bullshit heavy than a motherfucker. Like you could
Bro,
have 10 profiles that you would look at, and out of the 10, you might have 3 to have their Cash App and Venmo on there. I don't know you. Why am I giving you money? Are you a prostitute?
I'm,
What are we
I'm gonna
talking
tell
about?
you, I'm gonna tell you this. This is how delusional the whole situation is. Like outside of like OK Cupid and what's the other one? The one with motherfuckers be Match.com. Outside of that, the other ones are strictly made for hookups, bro. So if a bitch looking for love on fucking Tinder and shit like that, she don't have no fucking self-control. She don't know. First of all, women should not be out here trying to just lure men in. Do you see what I'm saying? Because they don't have the discernment. We've been raised and trained to do it, bro.
Mm-hmm.
We've been raised and trained to do it for generations. Women have only been doing this shit a handful of years. You see what I'm saying? They're not even equipped to actually to pick apart a dude's fucking story, or just to say, you know what? This nigga, I could tell this nigga only wants some pussy because he ain't got no shirt on in his picture.
You know,
You
you know
know
how
what I'm
many
saying? Like, you know,
times,
like niggas use dating apps to shoot fish in a barrel.
right? You
Women
know,
use it to try to find a way to tame a man.
you know how many times I've had to tell a woman who was 4'11" to 5'2" that if you want to actually maybe find a person, maybe don't have this rule of dudes being over 6 feet tall, and you're a midget. Like it's like they
They
put
set
the
themselves
game
up.
against themselves. It's the way they make choice, and that's going back to what you said. They're making choices based on a damn Disney movie fantasy, and we make choices based on where we like a dude in a certain job or a certain position. He know he can't get Beyonce. We don't have delusions like a woman working at McDonald's thinks she could get the most dopest dude alive. Like we don't be thinking that shit when we work in them type of jobs. We know what the fuck we can do. Like
I'll
and
even
it's
say this, bro. I'll even say this. If I was to fuck Beyonce, I don't look at it like that's my new level.
you
I
just
just think,
came
damn,
up that day.
I came up that day. Well, women be
But
like,
they
hey,
think that's they got no. He was just what is the term? I
she
was
went to a Chris Brown
picking
concert. I
low
paid a
hanging
thousand dollars
fruit
for him to
that
grab my
day.
ass. I paid $1,000 for Chris Brown to grab my ass. That's my new level now. Like the fuck? Like you still work at McDonald's, lady? Like, what we doing? You still a cashier at the Dollar General.
You
What
lost
we doing?
money on a stupid
You know what I'm
decision.
saying?
But now
It's a
you
it's a
think
it's
this is the type of man that you deserve now.
it's a society we live in, bro. The society fosters that type of bullshit. It keeps people. It's like loud noise and when you like. Well, I say when you tapping on the fish tank, the fish be minding their business. When you start tapping on the glass, they start to scurry and shit like that. We're in a constant state of scurrying right now. Motherfuckers ain't focused no more. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? People like so easily distracted and thrown off their pivot that they don't understand that a lot of their decisions ain't even made out of real discernment no more. Their decisions made off of pure emotion. You know what I'm saying? Making life making with it permanent choices off of temporary decisions, temporary emotions.
And
You know what I'm
that the
saying?
spirit of discernment for certain ones don't kick in until an advanced age where they've made so many mistakes or done it over and over and over again, and now they start to
But
say,
see,
you
those
know
are
what?
special needs people. That's the
Yeah,
special ed people though.
some of
Because
them,
think
not
about it like
all.
this. Because think about it like this. Like you have to mature at a constant rate in order to
Mm-hmm.
start developing some of these skill sets, right? But when you get
Mm-hmm.
stuck, when you reach that point of arrested development, that's special needs shit, bro.
Mm.
Like you can't be you ain't sharp and then all of a sudden you just get stuck. That means you've been something has hampered your ability to move on to the next stage. That's why when you go to school, they test you and shit like that. You do all them standardized tests. They want to
Mm-hmm.
know whether or not you're developing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Whether or not you're gonna be a good fucking spark plug for the machine.
Right.
You
Hmm.
Is
know
it
what I'm
okay
saying?
for us to move you to the next level? You know,
Yeah.
and
And
here's
some
here's the
people
test that we need you to take.
and life is constantly testing us.
Yeah, constantly.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people are failing like horribly at it. Why that's why this shit got 5 baby daddies. That's why this nigga got 5 baby mamas. Motherfuckers felt I'll say this. A nigga who got
In and
five
out of
baby mamas,
prison.
it might even be more skilled at life than a chick with 5 baby daddies. Because it should not be this easy to get pussy. And first of all, it should not be this easy to get pussy. And for the first time in human history, it's like it's easy as fuck, dude. Niggas who ain't got no niggas who don't deserve having no pussy is getting pussy, my nigga, and making babies. Women
Yeah.
are the gatekeepers to sex. The gate is wide open. You know what I'm saying? So
Because
think
they
about it like this:
make
if he a bum
decisions
ass
based
nigga, and this
on
nigga used to eat crayons in middle school,
yeah.
and now he got fucking kids and shit all over the fucking
But
city.
but
Who
but
failed who?
but six, the crayon eating child man is now 6'4". So
Yeah, he got muscles and shit.
everything goes out the window. Then he's 6'5". Nobody
He got
cares if he can
and he
think
drive a
now.
Hellcat. He
You know
drive a
how many
Hellcat
times
too.
I heard a girl
He keep the
literally
blicky
be
on.
like, a dude could be a certain height, and now he could be ugly, and I don't even care. Like he could be six,
Man.
you 6'6" and ugly. I don't care. You 6'6". I'm just like, y'all are weird because that's one thing about us. You can't be ugly. I don't give a fuck what the fuck you trying to do. As a guy, we like,
Bro,
I don't want no damn unless you
bro.
know that
The
ain't in
different
your
the
lane.
difference is though is like for men, it's always in tier groups. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yep.
like who and what you'll smash under these certain constraints and
Yep.
who you'll cuff and keep around. You know what I'm saying? Women just everybody grouped together under I want this to be my man. Yeah, she
Mm-hmm.
want to fuck,
Mm-hmm.
but it's backwards though because the man she want to fuck, she won't require no commitment out of him. You see what I'm saying? But she'll give everything to the nigga that she's highly attracted to, and this nigga don't even look at her like that because he this is another fucking bitch on my checklist. Click, you know what I'm saying?
Because
Check
nine
this one off.
times out of 10, to go back to what you said earlier, women will think that, oh, this is my tier because I got this guy. No, this guy that's probably maybe say he an 8 or 9 or 10 or whatever. Let's say he in that group. Sometimes if they are there, they gonna maybe take a 5 or 6 because that's like an alley oop to somebody that's a 10. They could get that easy. So now I'm getting this, and they gon' the person that is that other level, they gonna be so geeked to be with him, they gonna go super hard, all that stuff. So he's getting all these benefits, but at the end of the day, he know what he ultimately wants is equal to him. So eventually that person's gonna be gone. And then you thinking that's your tier now. So now the dudes that's talking to you, that's really the motherfuckers that you should be looking at. Well, I could do better than that. No, you could fuck better than that, but you can't get better than that to stay.
But her reality is shaped by her imagination, her perception.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So like in her mind, uh, fucking this dude who stick up liquor stores and shit like that, and got 7 baby mamas who all live on the same block she live on. That nigga ideal because she was able to tame him. You know what I'm saying? In her mind, she's thinking, well, this nigga. That's why you see them videos like, well, he come home to me and all that old crazy ass shit. Like he a fucking wild ass dog. Like he a stray cat. You know what I'm saying? You know what my front porch at? All that old crazy ass shit. Like, bitch, relax, get some game, learn some structure in your life. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, man, that this is where we at though. Because again, I know what it was like growing up and how challenging it was just to get numbers. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like, yeah, you can get numbers,
Mm-hmm.
but to get the number you really want. You know what I'm saying? To get the attention from the chick you really want. Nowadays, they just fucking throwing it out there. Like niggas, I'm looking at like, why is she giving it away so easy? What's wrong with it? And you find out
Mm.
what's wrong with it. She on fucking mental health pills and shit like that. And you know what I'm saying? She suffered from bipolar disorder and depression. And she got all these kids and baby daddies and all men ain't shit. And then you look at the men that she picked, these niggas that you used to see them in school, but you ain't know what room they went to. You know what I'm saying? Or you know what I'm saying? Like what the fuck? And now like now you got to question what's wrong with you. Like what's wrong with me? Why she choose me?
He
Am I
just
retarded
turned
too?
down the hallway and he disappeared. I don't know what room he
Right.
went.
Every,
I
Just,
never
every
seen
time I
nobody go
saw that
down
nigga
that
in
way.
school, every time I saw
and
that
they
nigga,
in the
he was walking in the
classroom
line.
like one plus
Every,
one
he
is
was
two.
that nigga was walking in the line. Every time they went to the bathroom, they were lined up. We ain't have to line up, but his class always had to line up. Why is that? You
No,
know
you
what
go
I'm
to the
saying?
washroom by accident when they in there and it's somebody standing at the urinal with their whole pants around their ankles at the
Down at their
urinal.
ankles
You
and
like,
shit. You know what I'm saying? There's water all over the place and
ugh.
shit.
That's who you hollering at now, ladies.
That's
The
what,
guy with the
that's
fans
your
around
baby
his
daddy.
ankles at the urinal.
I'm like, that's your baby daddy. You know what
Oh,
I'm
that's the
saying?
part you said it. And then all of these things we listen, and then they decide, wow, I should have a baby with this person. That's what I should do.
And all he got is his ability to fuck.
Ugh.
You know what I'm saying? That nigga offer a strong arm dick. They can go in there and slam her ass up against the wall and shit. That's why they all like to get choked and shit when they be fucking now. You know what I'm saying? They think that shit's sexy.
Oh,
Nah, this is how this
oh
nigga
my
communicate.
God.
His communication ain't that great. That's all.
All right. For real,
I
man.
don't know what to
I ain't
say.
trying to,
Right. And then when
you
they
know what
when
I'm
they
saying?
when they yoni
Nigga
be
spitting all
whistling
in their
at
mouth
you
and
and
shit.
shit, then they blaming everybody else. When that motherfucker
That
whistling while they
nigga,
walk.
nigga spitting in their mouth. She think that
Hey,
shit's
they be
sexy.
asking for
Yeah.
it.
And you give it to them.
All right. And then she be like, then she come fuck with you, and then she be like, you not exciting enough.
You're not.
No,
You're
this
not.
nigga eat. Every time you go out, this nigga eat chicken nuggets.
What's your name? Chicken nugget.
Chicken nugget.
Do you have the dino nuggets? I like those.
Really. That's why when you hear about them niggas always talking about go over her house and eat all her kids' fruit snacks. You know what I'm saying? That's them niggas. You
You
know what I'm
say
saying? When you
you
got
know
some
them
purpose
well,
in your
huh?
life,
Six. You say you know which one it is.
The
I can
red
point them out.
flags are showing. They're showing the red
For real.
flags, ladies. They're trying to show you. I
They're
mean,
trying to
I
tell you who
don't
they are, and y'all going for them.
know.
You know what I'm saying? These niggas
But
just walking around with a fucking stick in their waist when they was kids, like it was a gun. Got a limb off a tree, playing guns and shit. And like,
I'm
nigga, we too old
mad
for this.
that
What you doing, bro?
everything you said, I have witnessed this shit before. That's why I'm laughing so hard. I'm like, what? Did we have the same childhood? I guess we both grew up in
Hey,
Chicago,
No,
so
I
yeah.
think it's
yeah,
all
you
of
seen it.
us.
You
You
seen
saw
it.
it. You saw it. It's all of us. We all saw the same shit growing up through the public
Yeah.
school system. We all saw it.
Oh God.
That shit's everywhere. It ain't no place that
These
it
are
ain't.
these are these those lead paint chip babies.
Mm-hmm.
For real.
The motherfuckers that would scrape the gum off the bottom of the desk and have at it.
For real. And then sniff it before they pop it in their mouth and shit.
Are you
Niggas in the
tripping? Did we
nigga.
see this?
That's the
Are you?
motherfuckers. Niggas on the train eating boogers and shit. And get mad at you for and look and get mad at you for looking.
The fuck you
Be
looking at?
offended that you look disgusted.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. And
nigga,
wanna bust your
nigga
fucking
grown as
head
hell,
open.
musty as shit. Like nigga, you musty, bro. You got a full beard and you musty, bro. I don't give a fuck. I get pussy though. That's all it.
How?
And that's a
That,
problem.
like the ultimate when the ultimate goal is to get pussy, you can't even debate this nigga on nothing else.
Because he got it.
You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? Because odds are that when you find out who she is, you're like, damn, I fucked up too. This nigga my Eskimo brother. You know what I mean? Like, damn. So now you questioning your fucking intelligence and shit. Now how the hell she get past the radar? Cause she look good. Cause she meet all the criteria to get fucked. The difference is that she just gave it up. The bar low, man, or it's non-existent.
Well, that come from not having the right upbringing and all that stuff. Because 9 times out of 10,
Fathers wasn't
it's
in the house, man.
either a girl that had the parents and they were so strict that that just made them want to run out and
Yeah.
be in the street,
Mm-hmm.
or they didn't
A father
have two
figure that
parents.
taught him.
If they didn't have the two parents, then like you was about to say, it's like if you don't have a father figure, then you just keep searching for these, in men. So that's the other promiscuous archetype. So you got there's two strict parents, one which I done ran into a bunch of them. They be the ones be trying to do you in the car and stuff. You be like, damn, girl, like calm down. It's like I can't go
Fun.
inside. I'm like, all right.
Fun time.
I saw this video where this chick was breaking it down. She said that a lot of these women don't want a man or a father for their kids. They want a father for themselves. So that's why they treat their
Mm,
baby daddy like shit when he leave. Because not because uh he's not there for the kids, but because he's not there to be her father figure. Or when he
mhm,
have a strong relationship with his kids, she get jealous of it because she can't identify what that looks like or feels like. You know what I'm saying? And it'd be the same way, like the opposite side of that, like dudes who have like a super strong relationship with their mom, chicks be jealous of that and be looking at it like
mm.
he a mama's boy.
Yeah. Well,
But
how do
the
I
problem
destroy
with
his
that
relationship
is
with her?
you see what I'm saying? So it's like the way this system is structured, it got people fucked up, bro. It got them
Hmm.
right. It got everybody right where they want us.
Hmm.
Because if you out here confused about your own fucking social life and your relationship state, because for the last 2, 3 generations, shit been destructured and taken apart and reapplied in a different way. When it comes down to like just
How we
normal basic
going
shit like picking a mate,
how we
like
gonna do
mo-
anything on a larger scale?
yeah,
Because picking a mate is
like
integral.
Because
Like
most
that's a
animals
part of
that's the
everything.
basic.
won't mate with the inferior mate. You know what I'm saying? They won't look at another a animal that has like uh illnesses or having health issues and reproduce with them. They can pick up on it. We have lost the ability to see it and do anything about that. We'll fuck anything. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? We'll reproduce with anybody. And that's as a species, that's our biggest downfall. But I
Yeah.
think the reason why that is because systemically the way society works, it needs constant reproduction no matter what the cost. We got to constantly replace those that are dying off of those that are not useful to the system. I
mm,
told somebody at work a few weeks ago, I said the idea that your child is your child is just strictly an idea outside of the fact that you gave birth or you created this child. I said, but your child is product of the state. Your child, that's why you get a fucking certificate for their birth. That's why
mm,
you're required to get a certificate for their birth and a social security card. Your child is a fucking product of the state. You're just here to keep on. It's like a farmer raising chickens.
mm.
Yeah, the hen is the mother of those chicks, but who owns all of them? The farmer. You see what I'm saying? That's how the government is, man. It looks at us the same way. Like the reason why we got names is just for the benefit of our family identifying us and having communication. But we are not our names. We are fucking numbers.
Yeah,
Period.
social security number. Yep, that's our
You
For
know what I'm
those who
saying?
identification.
don't know, your government name is not the name that your mother gave you. Your government name is your social security number.
That's it. That's
Y'all
all.
can keep talking.
And the way it's kind of the way it plays out socially now is like again that loud noise shit I was talking about. It's like we being fucking frazzled in our ability to communicate and have a real logical conversation with each other is almost diminished to nothing now because I done seen too many scenarios where motherfuckers just don't want to listen if they don't trust you, if they don't believe you, you don't got enough money and all this old shit. You ain't I can't why I gotta listen to you? You ain't doing shit with your life, that type of shit. That's why we don't have no more leaders.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying everybody's under constant scrutiny. Anytime somebody steps into the realm of being a thought leader, they get questioned by all the idiots.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Every last one of the ones that we think or should have been in that position have went through it. Down to even six. We had that discussion before about Dr. Umar. You know,
Yeah. Well, we talked about Dr. Umar. We talked about Kevin Samuels. We talked
mhm.
about a bunch of
Kevin
different people who
Samuels.
had
I
who
thought
thought
that'd
out
have been a really good one.
because thinking outside the framework of what society wants us to kind of like latch on to is really what advances society. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who actually has ideas. You know what I'm saying? You have philosophers. We have modern philosophers people ignore. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the reason why is because they're not speaking on low vibrational shit. We're not. Everything is relationship based. I would even venture to say this: when Kevin Samuels was alive, yeah, he talked about relationship shit, but he wasn't talking about it in the context. Well, let me find you a date. Let me hook
Mm-hmm.
you up with
mm-hmm.
somebody who more your speed. No, it was
What
like
he was saying,
trying to,
why these are the things that are going wrong for you and why, and these are the things you need to
yeah,
correct. And then it
exactly.
was also coming
If
from the
you want the
man's point of
results you
view.
want, if these are the results you want based on the information you provided me, this is what I think you should change. You know what I'm
Or
saying?
maybe you're not even able to do what you're trying to do based
Correct.
on, because certain things aren't
All right, for
changeable.
you.
Like you
His
Yeah.
can't
opinion was just
change
harsh because
having
it was
3 and
coming from
4
his
kids,
perspective.
but he
That's
was
all.
coming from a place where he wasn't sugarcoating everything, and
Correct. It was
most
just harsh.
people that
I
are
don't even consider
blunt,
it harsh, bro. I think it was more like
blunt.
it was more like if you go into an office and you try to get a consultation from somebody and you say, I'm trying to start this business. This is what I got. And the person giving you the consultation, like they look at the information you provide and they're like, well, this ain't enough. I need something else. Because based on what you're asking me to provide you, this won't get what you want done. And
You
you
don't have enough of it.
come back with some heat. It's two ways they could respond. They could tell you get the fuck out their office, or they could give you more information and guidance. But the
Hmm.
deeper you down that rabbit hole you go, the more heat you're gonna get back. And that's how he always was. He never came off hot in the beginning. He always with absolute respect. You know what I'm saying?
It
And
was the build up.
the deeper the conversation went, the more heat they brought him. And he was like, "All right, I'm trying not to do this with you.
Hmm.
I'm trying not to do this with you." And then he was like, "How would you rate yourself on the scale of 1 to 10?" And you can't use
Hey,
7.
Or a 9.
You know what I'm saying? And then they'd be like, "I'm a 9. I'm a 10." And then he was like, "Well, this is what a 9 and a 10 is based on this standard, this on this criteria for the type of man that you're asking for. You're asking for a man who makes $200,000 a year. Why would he want you? You got 6 kids. You got 2 baby daddies. You got gout. You got fucking, you know what I'm saying? You got psoriasis. All this old shit going on in your
Yeah.
life that you just told me about.
But again,
Why
to
would
them
this
it came
man?
off harsh. But that's that was that emotional response that he was getting that people were eating up on the internet. And
Yeah, that's
he
what
was
made him
getting
go viral.
yeah, yeah,
right.
correct.
Because when he was having those conversations with men, when he was having those conversations with men and the shit got heated, it never went viral. Nobody gave a fuck about how men felt about that, the feedback
Because
he
they were
was
getting
giving them.
taught. They were getting a lesson.
You know what I'm saying? But I think that being taught a lesson you had to be receptive to the lesson in order for that to be true.
Or
You know what
men were
I'm saying?
probably
So
receptive than what women, because they go into
yeah,
defense mode
women want to go to war.
immediately.
They
When
be like,
you
nigga,
point
who's
out
you? You
something
ain't
they don't
nobody.
like.
Like, well, you just called me. You just hopped on my live feed and you started asking questions. I'm giving you answers. You don't like the answers. Goodbye. And well, fuck you, nigga, you bum ass nigga, blah, 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 blah. That type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Whereas like a dude, like he like, so what do you do for a living? I'm a cashier at the gas station. How much money you make a month? $1,500 a month. Nigga, get another job.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
want these results. You can't get that with
Yeah.
$1,500 a month.
If this
You
is
ask
type
me
of
to help
woman
you
that
get
you're
these
looking
results.
for, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
step it up.
Like honestly, like, and you kept saying, like, look, man, women are naturally hypergamous. They want to be provided for.
Mm,
You want what you want, they want what they want.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is about trade-offs and trades.
yeah. I remember early on when people tried to introduce me to him, I was a little taken back by it, but it was only because they sent me a clip and I had to go back because you told me, he was like, yo, Matt, don't go. He was like, oh, don't go off those clips that they sending you, man. Go look at the whole episode. Go see the whole thing. And I was like, man, let me go check it out because from what they're sending me, it was giving me the wrong perspective on him. And I was like, damn, man, let me go actually sit down and listen to what he's actually saying. And then you go back and you look at the whole entire episode, and then you get a chance to actually see what dude is talking about, the conversation, how it got to the point where you would think that it's demeaning women or black women or whatever. And then you get the whole gist of everything that's going on. You go, oh, okay, he wasn't demeaning them. He was just telling them it got to that point where it got too heated or they didn't understand what he was saying. And, they started trying to be offensive towards him and he just started lashing back out. So it was just all about getting some the correct understanding about him and what he was trying to do.
It's all
But
about
after
getting some
that, I didn't have
perspective.
no problem with it.
I think that honestly, I feel like socially we are like well beyond uh respectability politics. I think that that's where a lot of people want to kind of like they want to be able to benefit from respectability politics, but they don't want to kind of be respectful. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where we get a whole lot of this the hubbub with motherfuckers not being able to communicate well because communication is about understanding. It ain't
Mm-hmm.
about a debate. We ain't nothing to debate. What are we talking about? You know
That's
what
what
I'm
I keep
saying?
saying. That's what I tell people. Like when you converse with certain people, it ain't about who wins the conversation. Sometimes you need to get a better understanding of me, and I need to get a better understanding of you. Because if we gonna move forward, that's the only way we can coexist. Like I'm missing something, and you might be missing something, and we need to find out what it is.
Right. And I believe that that's a byproduct also of the chaos, the loud noise.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? We kind of like when you're in a constant state of frenzy, you don't use your words right. You don't know how to, you know what I'm saying? You don't know how to structure a sentence in a way where it doesn't come off as being emotionally defensive. Like a lot of people have a hard time accepting that they're not correct on certain things because they everybody that they've ever spoken to probably told them shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? You come from a household where motherfuckers tell you don't nobody want to hear that shit. You get out here in the world and you start expecting everybody to have that same energy for you. And the first time you hear something that sounds like it's coming off like that, you get defensive.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of people grow up in a household where their mama or their dad be like, man, get your ass out of here. Motherfucking patience be short as hell when it comes to raising kids for a lot of people because
Yeah,
they ain't meant to be parents. They just so happen to be parents.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They got out here, they was fucking and reproduced. And now they mad. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker fuck five of the wrong motherfuckers. And each time this motherfucker done shot the club up.
Mm.
And we
You know what
dealing
I'm saying?
with the
Now you got five little
repercussions
kids.
of them
They all they
people. We
want is
dealing with them
some
people
structure.
that was raised by people that didn't want them. And then we get
Exactly.
in a
Hell, raised by people
whole
who didn't even know each other that well.
certain ton that part. But then we getting this energy from them that's all negative and all that. We wondering like why is this part? But it's so much deeper than them surface level moments. It's always something with that person from whatever like childhood trauma, whatever, and how much trauma you gonna have if you raised by two people who didn't know each other that well, didn't even want you that much, and then didn't step up because some people go through that and see the baby fall in love, step up, and be a good parent in spite of. And there's a lot of people that don't, and
Pardon me
they
while I
deal
step
with
away and
that.
watch this chicken real quick. Y'all keep going.
Yeah. I think that and you're right, Creed. It's like it's it's a double-edged sword where it's like we've done away with the structures of the past, but we haven't replaced it with anything that's comparable. It's like it's just
People
do what you can,
yearning
do what you
for
want to
those
do.
structure stills, but it's hard to even enact them structures in the way that the world is currently. It's like, you know, how women want a certain type of man and a certain type of structure, but the world ain't even built in a way, at least in America, for it to be that structure the same way in a
That's because we
it's
have
not
a
gonna
dual
be that.
income. That's because we have a dual income society. You know what I'm saying? When you got when the bills are so expensive that it requires two incomes, and you're the only one in the household, it's kind of tough to manage that, and you're required to participate. There was a time when that requirement to participate wasn't so solid and concrete, but now it's like there's no a lot of motherfuckers out here claim they got a dream job. I never heard of a dream job. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Personally, because a dream job means that you have settled for working for somebody else, and this is what you dream to do. You see what I'm saying? That's what a
It's
dream job is:
wild,
doing something for somebody, making somebody else rich.
but some people don't have the, you know, like I was saying earlier, everybody not an entrepreneur, and it's okay. Some
Right.
people want to work for people and want a structure put in front of them, and they're gonna work hard, and you know they want to work to retirement and do the whole thing, and you know what? That's fine because a person with a mentality that will have a boss mentality, you need them people to exist for your things to
Yeah.
happen.
Yep.
You know, so
Absolutely.
everybody can't be the chief. You know, everybody can't be the chief. So some people do have, you know, just for society to keep running, it needs to be people with that mentality to a degree. But within that, it needs to be fair. So people who do decide to do this, their life shouldn't suck because they decided to live a way that they are working for others. Their life shouldn't suck because of that. And that's where we
I
are
think
now.
that
I feel like a lot of times it does.
I agree, but I think that the idea of fairness is really contingent on what you're willing to apply. So it's like, let's say let's say she's a fucking a lawyer. She went to law school. You know what I'm saying? She got out. She got her shit together. And now in her mind, most of their mind, they want somebody who make as much money or more than they make in order for them to live a sustainable life. But most of the time, they don't even want to help pay none of the bills. They're not really. They don't want to. They want a provider, regardless of how much money they make. And the reality of the thing is like what drives men's economic stability versus a woman's economic stability is almost night and day. You know what I'm saying? Like the type of stuff like we were talking earlier about like infrastructure, how men are like really invested in working in infrastructure and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Being electricians and in the trades. Those generally don't pay as much as being a fucking lawyer, bro. But
Well, they
you
started
Absolutely
to
can't
not.
because of
you
the
can't
scarcity of those jobs because of the way that our society especially has pushed everybody in this like go to a 4-year university and not a trade, so it's less tradesmen. So some
yeah.
electricians damn near pulling down what lawyers are making because of the scarcity of them,
Yeah,
depending
because
on
of
how they market themselves.
the need for that role has created the you know what I'm saying the
The
scarcity. The
demand.
scarcity created the need.
Mm-hmm.
I think that what happens though is that because the Venn diagram doesn't overlap, you have this situation where the communication is skewed. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't say what my type is without coming off as being toxic and wrong. You know what I'm saying? I can't say what I want from a woman without being considered toxic and wrong. However, I've never had a problem with dating down financially. You see what I'm saying?
I think we all
And
have,
most
right?
women
We've all done that, right?
Yeah, I
but
mean,
but
generally.
women tend to like women who actually have some sort of financial stability almost never want to. They never desire to. They never seek
Mm-mm.
to unless this nigga throwing some meat stick at her. You know what I'm saying? And he gonna stir up her guts and shit like that. And now all of a sudden she'll take care, she'll pay his car notes and pay his fucking his
For
child support.
for a while, but eventually that's gonna wear down on them and
Yeah,
they gonna go back
because
into the
she's never gonna be
same.
satisfied with that
Exactly.
if he can't meet her where she at.
Hmm.
Whereas, like for me as a man, I'm not looking for a woman to meet me financially where I'm at because I'm supposed to be able to maintain my life without her anyway.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? She's supposed to be in addition to my life, not a required component to live my life the way I want to live it. And they be thinking that we could pool our resources together and live the dream. No, that never works that way because the what's the phrase they use? His money is my money is my money. That's what they
Yep.
always say.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
You
and
know what I'm
that's
saying? Ain't no
why
man,
you can't get
most men
ahead.
don't count their woman pockets.
No,
You know what I'm
because we know
saying?
we're
Most
not really privy to that. If the structure was more so like, okay, I want to provide, I want to work, but okay, with my resources, I'm gonna make sure that we investing in this, we doing this, we doing that. That would make so much more sense to me. And it's some women that think like that. You know, I and most of the women I know that think like that are married. You know, what's in there don't have very many problems in their relationships either because they're thinking more like I want a partner. That is the point of this. But it's so many women that literally just want a daddy to come in and save them and not a partner. It's not the same, you know, because if people had a partnership mentality for real, you could grow something greater together and live the lifestyle that you ultimately want to live together if y'all get on the same page. Two heads is better than one, but both people got to be on the same page. And that's why everybody going in circles because there's so few of those situations. And the ones that they love so much are the people who actually are doing what I'm saying, but they still have this skewed Delulu vision of it like that man is doing everything. It's like, no, she's helping. That's why they're okay, whatever. You know, like Beyonce and Jay-Z not billionaires if they're not together. They enabled each other to become billionaires.
And you gotta have the idea already instilled. You gotta have like the structure and idea instilled that it takes to anyway. You can't be out here thinking, well, I just need somebody to supplement my fantasy life while I still do me. You know what I'm saying? Once you're in a relationship, I'm not even gonna say relationship. Once you're in a marriage, once you've actually like committed that relationship to something that makes you a unit, then I can I can't even question what a motherfucker actually, you know what I'm saying, what their intentions and their motives are. It's the people that expect the marriage benefits from just fucking and just being around each other. Those are the ones I be questioning. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't get fucking you don't get access to my bank accounts and or get power of attorney over me if something happens to me just because we fucking. You know what I'm saying? You don't get to benefit from you. I'm not putting you on no fucking insurance policies just because we fucking. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, even deeper than that, though, like a person has to again present as qualified to be that deeply entrenched in your life.
Mm-hmm.
You got to
100%.
really, you got to really look at this person as being worthy of that on both sides. Men have to be that for her, and she got to be that for him.
Exactly. Like I feel like when a woman come out the gate like, oh, I want princess treatment, I want this, I want that. Okay, cool. If a dude on the back end be like, all right, so what do you bring to the table? You better
Qualify
not get
for it.
offended, and you better answer this fucking question because maybe as a man, don't say it. What do you bring to the table? Because that triggers them instantly. But you could ask that question in a way that's not as triggering. Whatever the way you ask it, they need to answer it if they're demanding of you that type of stuff to me. Because it's
Low
like,
key, bro.
why
Low key,
would I do that unless you're giving me something to make it make sense to me?
low key. I'm never asking that question. I'm looking. I'm observing.
Oh,
I'm being
that's a
because
real dude that's gonna do that. I think that's how you
because they
actually
gonna
find the
people
answer.
always gonna people always gonna talk themselves up and make and be so fucking outside the realm of the truth when it comes to that answering that question in real time. You know what I'm saying? You ask her what she bring to the table, she gonna make up some shit. She gonna say some shit that ain't real just because this is how she imagine
Right.
herself to be.
Mm-hmm.
But just
I
you know what
feel
I'm saying
like
through
if you discerning,
the
you could
vetting
tell the
process.
little bullshit answers. If some you
Yeah,
ask that and they answered a certain way, like it's this lady that I follow off of my podcast account. Forgot her last. It's Sarah or something. It's like with an F, but she is one of the few women that definitely would say, "Oh, I want a high value man." Blah blah blah. Skippity skip. But what she says on the back end in terms of this is how I would help their life. This is how I would do this. How I do that. You sound like you qualified for who you asking for. Like it's a difference of just asking for some shit and being qualified for some shit.
right.
That's for both genders. I'm not trying to put women under the bus and men be trying to get some shit that they ain't qualified for either. Just going back to what you're saying, if you working somewhere making $1,500 a month, you ain't qualified for a lot of shit. Honestly, you ain't even qualified for these deuces out here. You better get another job.
He said the deuces out here.
But
Yeah, man.
yeah, but I'm gonna have to
No, you're
I
not.
need to wrap up
We got
soon
one. We
because
got one more hour to go. What you talking about?
please, I definitely
Now, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of the Link Up on Full Profits Podcast. My co-host, as motherfucking usual, is 606 and Creed. I appreciate you guys jumping on here with me today. I'll probably put
Yeah,
this
man.
out next week or the week after. You guys continue to do well, be great, and take care of yourselves mentally and physically. And
thank
remember
you,
the
brother.
mission statement when you're striving for greatness. God never puts you in the driver's seat if it's taken. You bitch you.